Hey guys, how are you all doing? It's been about 5 weeks. A lot has changed since then. 5 or 6 weeks, possibly even longer since I did the last video. So I think the last video that I did was pregnancy in the 3rd trimester. And fast forward to now, we have a little baby in the house. He is currently sleeping. So this it's the first day that I feel like I've got the energy to create a video, and whilst he's sleeping I thought I'd just try and film something quite quick, because now we don't have like a routine per se, because anyone that's got a newborn or who has experienced being around a newborn knows everything is on their time. So yeah, Carpish is back at work, so I've been kind of figuring out how everything works with just me and him in the house, and obviously Milo, the dog. But yeah, we have a little baby boy. So for those of you who have been following for quite a while knew that we didn't know what we were expecting. We kept it as a surprise, and yeah, we've got a baby boy. His name is Dylan. I won't be showing him in this video, but I'm gonna include some pictures because this video is all about the labour and delivery stories. So I found it really helpful watching a lot of sort of pregnancy videos and birth vlogs specifically here on YouTube whilst I was kind of going through that experience. So I really wanted to share my story because it was super positive, and Dylan actually came 2 weeks early. So rewind it a little bit, his due date was the 23rd of March. However, during the pregnancy, I'd experienced quite a few episodes of reduced movement. So it could have been a number of things. It could have been the baby being stressed out, but doctors not picking up on the case via scans and things, because there's only so much that they can actually tell from growth scans and CTG monitoring. So they hook you up to the monitor and they basically measure the baby's heart rate. But yeah, they can only pick up on certain things. So I had about 3 or 4 episodes during the pregnancy, mostly in the 2nd and 3rd trimester. And the 5th episode happened in March. So I was around about 37 weeks, 6 days or 5 days, something like that. And I went in with reduced movement again, and after quite a few hours of monitoring and trying to get, basically my heart rate was really scatty. They tried a few different things on me, and they basically said it's probably best to get you induced and get the baby out, because as I mentioned before, they can only tell to a certain extent as to what's going on with the baby. So I kind of knew that they may recommend being induced, but in my head, it was kind of like, okay, maybe a week down the line, something like that. But they were like, no, come back with your things. We've got a slot basically for tonight. Let's get the baby out. So you can imagine my shock. I was just like, oh my God, it's 2 weeks early. Is he going to be okay? The stress and anxiety that came with it was a bit like, oh my days. So I came home, Carpish was home that day, packed my bags and we went. I was in tears, I'm not going to lie, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I'd heard so many horror stories and read about really negative things with being induced. So for those of you guys who may not know, being induced just means that they kind of force the labour, if you like, and delivery of the baby. So I went in and didn't know what to expect, had the clothes and stuff, and basically that night they got things going. So the visitor time finished at 8:30 p.m. Carpish had to go, so right before he left, it was they basically insert like a pessary in to your bits, and this pessary basically is a 24-hour one. If the 24-hour one doesn't work, they go on to give you, I believe, 2 more pessaries, and then it's a whole different process. But in my case, that pessary started everything that night. So they put it in around 8:30 after doing like cervical examinations, and once it was in, within half an hour to an hour, I could feel things kicking off. So the surges or contractions, whatever you want to call it, basically started. So first of all, it was all cramping sort of around the back area coming to the front. At that time, obviously it's the first baby, so I had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh my God, this is painful. Not painful, but it was just different to what I'd experienced through pregnancy. So I was like, okay, something is definitely happening. Don't really know what, but let's see what happens. And then that was about 8:39 p.m. and come midnight I was feeling a lot more, so I gave the midwife a shout and they were like, okay, we can give you painkillers, here's some paracetamol. So I took some paracetamol. Come back 3 or 4 in the morning, it had really sort of increased, and I was like, okay, I'm guessing this is like contractions. Even going to the toilet, because they had me drinking a lot of water because my heart rate was still scatty, and I was busting for a pee throughout the whole thing, obviously. I had to keep going to the toilet, a TMI, but had to keep walking to the toilet, busting for a pee. And yeah, so on the way back, I was like, I literally could not stand up. I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? And then I went to the midwife and I was like, is this normal? Probably sounded really stupid at the time, but she was like, yeah, totally normal for this part of labour. I was like, oh, okay, sure. She's like, do you want some more painkillers? I was like, yeah, great. So she gave me some form of codeine, I believe. Can't remember what type at this moment, sorry. Fast forward to the morning. So at that point, I was literally stood by the bed, and I just couldn't move very much at all without being in pain. So I was getting like waves of pain, but it wasn't pain as in like pain, it was more like uncomfortable feelings, I guess, around obviously the whole sort of stomach and back area and stuff. So things are obviously progressing quite a bit. And then what happens is they check to see if how the pessary is getting on. So they did the cervical check, and because my heart rate was basically being super scatty, they said after doing the check that they need to take the pessary out because it's not going as well as they would like. So at this point, the surgeries and contractions were kind of back to back, but there wasn't being timed very well. They were just kind of like coming way too quick. And this must have been about 10 o'clock in the morning. So got admitted to hospital 5:30, pessary in at 8:30 p.m. and this was the following morning on the Friday at about 10:30. Calibrish came in and I was literally just in pain. So when they did the cervical check, I was in tears because at this point I was getting the contractions or surges, and they were digging in obviously to find out what's going on. And I think that was like the worst part of the whole experience, I would say. And then so basically all the doctors came, quite a few doctors, nurses, and I was just like, okay, this is a bit too much. My anxiety levels were through the roof because I really wanted to kind of keep it as natural as possible. So being induced was not something I had in mind, not offset, but it is what it is. And then once they removed the pessary, that's when it kind of went normal or all natural again. So I was super happy with it. They basically took me down to the delivery suite, and this must have been about midday, so between 10 and 12:30. They were like, yeah, I'm going to get you downstairs. Looking back on it, I can't remember much because I think I was just out of it. Because one of the things that I was doing is focusing on my breathing, which is a huge thing in labour. The positive, what's it called? I can't think right now. I did like a hypnobirthing course online, which I would highly recommend. I'd link it down below. This is not an ad in any way, but it was an amazing, the Positive Birthing Company is what it's called. I can't believe I forgot that. And it was like a digital pack with loads of videos, and it was super informative about the whole labour aspects, but just pregnancy in general, and then the breathing techniques to get you through labour and delivery. So because I've always kind of been into that whole aspect of things anyway, I found that it really helped me to kind of learn a little bit more, and we watched it together, Calibrish and I did, so it was amazing because he was an amazing birthing partner. So the hypnobirthing definitely helped massively, I believe, and it really helped a lot to kind of come back to your breathing and focus on it. So at this point, when we were still upstairs, I was definitely focusing on my breathing and kind of getting through the contractions or surges, whatever you like to call them. And we went downstairs, so the nurse was like, oh, you're gonna be okay to walk down? I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. On came a surge and I was like, give me a moment. And the thing is about contractions or surges is that they come on, you breathe through it for about a minute and then they go and you can have a conversation again. But they were coming on so rapid that I couldn't have that much convo at this point. So they could see, obviously I wasn't doing amazing. Well, I was doing good, but I was in sort of pain. So they were like, it's okay, we'll just go and get the wheelie chair. So they go and get the wheelie chair, and I sit on this wheelie chair. This wheelie chair is the longest ride ever to the delivery suite. Having surgeries or contractions of being on the wheelie chair was like crazy. I can still feel it now. It wasn't very nice, not gonna lie. But could have been worse, it could have been bumpy, it could have been a car, which I don't know how people do or how women get through it. Let's go down to the delivery suite, and I'm just like, it's the gas in air here, and oh my god, the doctor or the nurse that I had to get me through the labour and delivery was amazing. I'm still yet to send a thank you card and gift because I don't think I could have done it without her. She was absolutely fantastic and very much in our corner. So we're down at the delivery suite, gas and air as well, and I'm like happy as Larry. I'm like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. It totally takes you into a different zone. For those of you who may not have used gas and air before, which I hadn't, you're just high as a kite. And the surgeries were completely different at this point. Breathing through them, getting through them, and I was like, oh my god, I can totally do this. And at some point, I can't remember when, obviously they started doing like the checks to check how far you dilated. In fact, that was upstairs, so they checked during the cervical examination to see what's going on. They said that I was already 6 centimetre dilated, so basically the baby's ready to come out at 10, so I had 4 centimetres to go. So by the time that we were downstairs, I was at 6. And the doctor was like, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and break your waters. Are you okay with this? And at this point, guys, you can imagine I'm just like, get this baby out, all good. I'm on gas and air at this point, and I'm like, I'm here, let's go for it. And the doctor's laughing because she's like, that's the gas and air talking, isn't it? I'm like, don't know what it is, just get on with it. So anyway, she breaks the waters, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be at all. I didn't even feel it at this point because surgeries and contractions are there, so you're kind of like, just get on with it, do what you need to do. I'm all yours. So she breaks it, and all you feel is like, oh, the water draining out. And honestly, I remember just saying, oh my god, I feel so much lighter already. Doctor was laughing, the midwife was laughing, Calvin just stood there just like, oh my god, this is so funny. And I'm just there like, way. So the waters are out, and then literally the contractions or surgeries get full on, because as soon as the liquid comes out of you, the baby's head is literally there, ready to come out. So, so the waters are out, and then during my sort of pregnancy, I'd done a lot of yoga at home because I wasn't able to do much cardio further on in pregnancy because of the aches and pains and just pressure everywhere. So I was doing a lot of yoga, which I honestly believe has helped me so much through pregnancy. So I would highly recommend it. So I had the birthing ball, and the birthing ball was, I just basically had it on the bed, and I was leaning on it, and it's amazing because your body just knows when the baby wants to come out. So I'm there like, I really need to like push, and the nurse is like, not yet, I need to do the check, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, just do the check, do whatever you need to do. And between 12:30 and 2 o'clock, everything happened. It was a natural delivery, and I'm so happy with the way that things turned out. I really wanted to share this video because of that, because I'd read so many negative stories about being induced and things, but actually my experience was absolutely incredible, and I couldn't have asked for a better sort of experience, I feel like. I did it all with just gas and air. There was a moment where I was like, oh my god, I can't do this, and the nurse was like, you're doing amazing, you're listening to your body. The doctor was like, do you want any more painkillers? I was like, I almost gave in. I was like, I don't want an epidural just because I want to stay away from it. But certainly, I think it was pethidine, and I almost did it, and the midwife was like, are you sure? Because you're doing really well. I was like, no, you're totally right. You're totally right. I can do this, I've got this. So by the end, it was literally just yoga ball or exercise ball on the bed, and that final push, the baby literally, Dylan just comes out, and I'm pretty much squatting, and he nearly hits the floor, but obviously Lucy, the midwife, the amazing midwife, grabs the baby and hands him over, and I'm just like, oh my god, as if this has just happened. It was the most incredible experience that I've ever experienced in life. I can't even explain it. People go on about the pain of labour and delivery and things like that, but actually it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I do have quite a high pain threshold, I feel like, so maybe that has something to do with it. But your body does really know what it's doing. There was a moment where they were doing the checks and I was laying flat on the bed, but that really did not feel comfortable at all. And I feel like the yoga during the pregnancy had helped to kind of have me more comfortable in certain positions. So certainly for me, it was definitely a stand up type of thing, and breathe through it and just do what you got to do. But during pregnancy, like, you'll know with your body, if you're quite in tune with your body, you'll know what positions are going to work for you during labour, I feel like, as well. Like, you might find that leaning forward helps a lot more during pregnancy, which could indicate that when you're ready for the baby to come, you might find it more easier. Not easier, but a lot less pressure on your body if you're in the similar moves. So really pay attention to your body during your pregnancy, because it helps during your labour and delivery. We were meant to have a photographer, but because everything happened so fast, so yeah, we went down for about 12:30, and Dylan arrived by 2 p.m. that afternoon. The oxytocin that gets released during the labour and the delivery is bonkers. Like, it's crazy. Like, post-pregnancy, I don't think people talk enough about post-pregnancy either, but certainly in the hospital that I was at the first night, partner can't stay with you, so it's just you and the baby, obviously with midwife on board. But I feel like the oxytocin that's released during the labour and delivery is what gets you through like the next week or so, because it's literally just like, you're tired. So it's depending on your experience, it's literally like labour, delivery, baby's here, breastfeeding if you choose to, a formula, regardless of what it is that you're doing, feeding baby, nappies, everything is like full on. So the first 2 weeks was just crazy. Carpish was at home, thankfully, because they get 2 weeks paternity leave. So that helps massively. And we had parents coming over, dropping off at dinner, like food and stuff like that. And that was super, super helpful. But now we're getting to the 6 week point. It's going to be 6 weeks on Friday, so 5 weeks in a few days. And I feel like we've got not a rhythm going on, but we certainly know Dylan a lot better, and we know what works for him at the moment, what isn't working. Times, putting him to sleep, getting to know another human being that's just like, hey girl, this is all yours, and you're like, what do I do with this? But yeah, overall it was a super positive experience, and I really wanted to share that with you. Yeah, so as I was saying, we were meant to get a photographer. She was booked. She had booked the whole week around the expected due date, which was 23rd of March. And I remember texting her as I went downstairs. I kept her up to date throughout the whole thing, and I was like, Jed, can you make it? Don't know when the baby's going to arrive. Doctors were actually so keen to see the delivery, because from what I can gauge from what they said, they don't get too many natural deliveries. So the doctor said to the midwife, let me know when she's coming, or when the baby's coming, because I want to be in the room to see it. But it happened so quick that the doctors couldn't make it. But the midwife was literally just like, that was an amazing birth. But super quick. So I was texting Jen, just being like, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'll give Carpesh your number to text you to let you know what's going on. To keep you updated through the whole thing. And she was meant to finish work at 4, because as I say, I came 2 weeks early, so she planned to be available, but didn't happen. So yeah, it all happened so quickly that we didn't get a photographer. So I asked Carpesh to just take photos, which I'm going to loop in, or I might have looped in already, through here. And I'm so glad that we got those photos, because it's an absolutely amazing experience for a woman to go through, from all the emotions of like 9 to 10 months just there handed over to you. It's absolutely crazy. From all like the first trimester and feeling sick, the second trimester feeling not pregnant at all, getting on with it, third trimester of just being like, oh my god, all the emotional, the hormones, the sickness, everything, and this baby's then, you're like, oh my god, that was so worth it. Absolutely crazy experience. And not only that, but it's so unique to every woman that experiences it, because it's so different for everyone. But yeah, it's bonkers what's happened over the last to 6 weeks, but I'm super excited to get to know him more. We are currently booking our sort of first couple of trips with him as well, so we're looking forward to taking him for travels and seeing what the rest of the year pans out. Even though it's April, I feel like 2019 is just getting started for us, or for me. Certainly for Dylan, of course, because it's his first few months, but he's still sleeping and doing well. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have got any questions at all about pregnancy, labour, delivery, anything like that, do comment below, let me know, and I will get back to you. I'll also link the Positive Birthing Company pack down below, because I honestly feel like that helped a lot. And anyone that might be keen to do like yoga during pregnancy, YouTube it. I literally just YouTubed everything, because towards the end of the pregnancy, I didn't want to leave the house to go meet people, do things in all these environments with heaps of people, getting stressed out. So it's very much calm and things at home. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap that one up, because I feel like he's gonna wake up soon and I need to go sort him out for his feeding and things. I'm looking forward to getting some more videos back up on here and seeing where we go with it all. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back soon. Bye.